Hello, friends. How you doing? Good Saturday morning to you, or whatever time of day it happens to be, wherever you are in the world. For those watching in archive, I thank you so much for being here. Let me say good morning to some people here. Let's see. Smile Soul 20. Leisha, nice to see you. Marcos Herring, we know that's Anna. Melanie, glad to see you. Dave, glad you're good. And Dave has done, as we all must do, separate out your pentacles. That's what we're doing today. So if you have your cards with you, separate out your pentacles now. If you have not already done so, as Dave has. Good morning, Karen Maynard. And she has also separated out her pentacles. Kim Morris, nice to see you. Jill Ann, nice to see you. Stella Barber, glad you're here. Jackie Scott, glad you're here. Jean Mnuchin, nice to see you. Betty Fletcher, glad you're here. So we will welcome people as they come on into the room. Today, as you know, we're going to be spending an hour talking about the suit of pentacles. Hey, Clumsy Clairvoyance, nice to see you. So, Claire C., glad you're here. So we know, and AM, nice to see you. Thank you all so much for being here. Sarah, happy to see you. Okay, and in anticipation of this class, Kim separated out her pentacles last night. Hey, Catherine Rosado, nice to see you. Dina Moskowitz, glad you're here. Lisa McCord, nice to see you. Karen Winkle, hope you're doing well. Glad you're here. Karen's on the West Coast, which means it's really early for her. All right, Joanne, glad you're here. Okay, so the suit of pentacles, of course, is related to the element of earth. And the first thing that we have to talk about when we talk about the suit of pentacles is what is the element of earth, and what do we mean when we say that the suit of pentacles is related to the element of earth? One thing that happens when we talk about the minor arcana is there can be a lot of confusion for people because they understand the elemental association of the cards, right? Swords is air, cups is water, wands is fire, pentacles is earth. But in that, it can really start to trip people up. Like, suppose it's a question about love, but you get all swords or you get all pentacles. We need to recognize that while each of the elements rules a certain aspect of life and informs a certain aspect of life, every suit can speak about every life situation. And it's important to understand that. Hey, Style and Chica, my good friend Peely, glad you're here. Dory, nice to see you this morning. So the first thing we're going to understand when we look at these cards is that, yes, we will see how the element of earth informs each of these cards. And we will see how their numeric value or their rank association, as in the court, informs the cards. But we will also see that these cards can speak of any aspect of life. So let's talk first about the earth element. And, I think one thing that happens with the suit of pentacles is we know that originally it was the suit of coins. It's very often called coins or discs or stones. And it's really easy to make the suit of pentacles be all about the money. That these are the only cards that can talk about money, not true. And that money is the only thing these cards talk about, also not true. So we do see money in these cards, but we see many other things. Hello, Barbara O'Brien, so nice to see you here. So the first thing I'd like to do is really talk about all of the things that the earth element rules and informs us about. So would you go ahead and chat in your keywords and thoughts about earth and go ahead and tag it. Hashtag earth. Tell us what you see in the element of earth. Tanya, nice to see you. And remember that earth is not just the suit of pentacles. Earth is also the 3 earth signs of the zodiac, which would be Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And Earth as one of the four elements is one of our, well, it is, the stabilizing factor of the four elements, isn't it? But when we think about the four elements together, we think about how they all work together to bring us what we need in life. So Claire sees manifesting in the earth element. Jean sees grounding in the earth element. Hey, Lori Hahn, nice to see you here. One of my favorite keywords for the earth element is resources. And that brings in your money, but it also brings in all of your resources, your time, your energy, your talents, all resources. Okay, so let's see what else we see here. From the Hermit's Moon, practicality, absolutely. From Anna, Earth, tangible and or manifesting things that have great value to us, things that we value. Dina, the body, absolutely. Catherine, anything tangible that you can touch, home, comfort, nature. Karen says in the deck she's working with today, Pentacles is represented by the season of autumn. From Sarah, tangible and concrete. Tanya, health, career, family, home. From Dave, grounding, rare and valuable minerals, tied in with home as the earth is our residence. Right, and it can speak literally of our home as well. Clumsy clairvoyance. The Pentacles always make me think of our everyday foundations and security. So the mundane, what you do every day. Sure. Karen says health and food. Barbara, physical body, bones, material things. From Lisa McCord, slow and steady, right, versus wands that move fast. Right, and so the elements do have sort of a time and speed component, Earth being the slowest, right? Because in Earth we have steadfast, stable, grounded. Dina says she heard today, cells and DNA, sure. And what's passed from generation to generation. From AM, opportunities, decision-making wisdom, business acumen, real estate and tangible possessions, absolutely. Barbara, the root chakra, yes, yes, yes. Ultraviolet Morgan Tarot, responsibilities, yes. And this is where, like, when we talk about the earth element or the suit of pentacles being specifically things you can touch, I have to say, no, not always, because the concept of resources is an earth thing. And you can't always touch all of your resources. You can count your money, but if your resource is your talent, how do you touch that? If your resource is the goodwill you've generated with others, how do you touch that? Likewise, responsibilities, how do you touch those? So I would say when we think about the earth element or the suit of pentacles as being just what is tangible and touchable, I have to say too limited. Yes, it is all that, but it is also these other things, that have to do with your responsibilities, with what grounds you and with what your resources are. And sometimes resources are conceptual rather than something that you can touch. Ultraviolet Morgan Tarot says, King of Pentacles always makes me think heavy is the head that wears the crown. Barbara, tribal energy. Hey, good morning, Gina. Nice to see you. So let's go through these cards one by one, starting with the ace, and let's talk about what we see in each of them. And remember that when we think about the cards, we really want to think about each card. We want to think about each card. You guys are too funny in the chat room, in the comments. You guys are too funny. All right. We want to think about each card in terms of what we learn from it, what it means in divination, and what we would use it for in magic. 3 things. That's like my new thing. You notice, like every month or so, I have this new thing that I'm preaching, and it's not really new to my practice. It's just, this is an important concept. Let's play with it for a while. right now, my important concept is that each and every tarot card has three significant ways we use it. One is the spiritual lesson it teaches us. Two is what it might mean in divination. And three is how we might use it to manifest something. And those things may be different, and they may be different at different times. So the Ace of Pentacles, Barbara mentioned the root chakra. And I do specifically see the Ace of Pentacles as connected to the root chakra, right? And so in a reading, if we're talking about health or well-being or how we're feeling, and this card comes up, it might mean you need to do some root chakra healing. What else do we see in the Ace of Pentacles? Now, very often we will see aces as beginnings, but we will also see them as the source or the essence of their element. And so the source of earth can be the source of money, which is your job. The Ace of Pentacles, as a new beginning, can be a new job or a new source of money, although I will always say when I predict that in a reading, don't spend it till you have it. I learned the hard way on that. Well, you said I was getting more money, right? Okay, so in a reading, it could talk about the root chakra. It could talk about a new job or new money. It could talk about a new way of taking care of yourself, a new diet, a new exercise program, a new way of generating your health, right? So Kathy sees a golden opportunity here, right? A new opportunity, an opportunity to collect a new resource or to develop a new resource. So what is the lesson of this card? What does this card teach us? I think this card teaches us that resources can always be available to us. We just need to believe that they can be and know where to look for them. We need to know how to find our resources. So there's a lesson here about finding your resources, finding your opportunities. Dory sees here self-reliance. Sure, absolutely, absolutely. Now, how might you use this card for magic? Certainly, if you need money quick, this would be the one. If you're trying to get the job, this could be the one. So as we go through, make sure you tag your comments because I may move more quickly than you do because it is easier to speak than it is to type. So whatever card you're talking about, tag it. Tag the name of the card and then tell us what you're thinking. So a comment in this card about the gate. And I think that is really important, to step through into your opportunity, to step through into your groundedness, to step through into your realization that you can create resources. Okay. Now, and we can see that a story is here, right? Like, okay, I got a new job. Now I got to work really hard. All of a sudden, my life just got harder. And it's interesting to note, this infinity symbol. And did you see, I just got an infinity symbol barrette I'm really excited about. Amazon. Okay. Hey, it's a pandemic. Little things please us, right? The infinity symbol shows up in the weight deck on 4 different cards. And only one of them is Minor Arcana, and it's this one. And I think that's really interesting. And we see here the idea from Karen that aces can represent a blessing. And Clumsy Clairvoyance says, there's a lesson here about being grateful for your blessings, knowing your blessings and being grateful for your blessings. I absolutely agree. So when we get to the 2, we are juggling. We may be juggling any sort of resources, time, money, energy. So often, this card will come up for people who work more than one job, or people who have, as my mother used to say, too much month left over at the end of the money, or people who are working and going to school or working and parenting. There's just a sense that the resources are stretched. But I do feel like the infinity symbol suggests that you can keep doing this for as long as you need to. Now, we probably should talk about reversed meanings while we're at it. So what do we think of? Right, and Dory says number 2, Pentacles, balancing resources. Absolutely. Jill, Ace of Pentacles, gateway to possibilities of resources. Yes. Anna, 2 of Pentacles, adaptability. Right and left brain double shift. Right, right. So let's go back and talk about reversals. Ace of Pentacles reversed, I often see as job loss or financial insecurity. Like you really need to turn this right side up and find your opportunity. 2 of Pentacles reversed, it may be time to ask for help. You may not have all, you may not be able to handle all this. You may need help. Karen, number 2, says this is great at multitasking. Yes, indeed. Ultraviolet says the gate gives us the choice and the control. Hermit's Moon, reverse days, lack of opportunity. Clumsy Clairvoyance, 2 of Pentacles always reminds me of being on a teeter-totter. Sure, and there really is. It's a 2, and so 2s can often be about balance. So there really is something here about having to keep balance, having to find your balance. And that can be hard. So, we see this little story. I got a new job, and now as I move this job into my life, it's hard, man. It's hard. Or I started school to learn something new, and now I'm learning it, and that's taking time and resources. But then we move on to the 3. And with the 3, we see some success. There's a nice little story here of starting, working it out, and finding success. However, there is a huge argument in our community that has to do with the 3 of Pentacles and the 8 of Pentacles. So why don't you skip ahead, and you'll have to put this back in order in a minute. Let's look at the 8. Anna says 2 of Pentacles reversed, bad at multitasking. Indeed, absolutely. Sarah, I think it's interesting that the 2 is the juggler, since normally you see jugglers with 3 or more balls in the air. Shows that it's more about balance. Absolutely. Ultraviolet, 2 of Pentacles reminds me of the fictional product from the movie in the Santa Claus. Do it all for you, Dolly. Yep. I love it. Karen, 2 reversed. You drop everything you're juggling. Right. And AM says the Ace reversed is not a good investment of resources. Betty, 2 of Pentacles. Could be someone cheating on a spouse. It could be. That wouldn't be my first go-to unless in that moment I thought it felt that way, or if the other cards around were making me think it, but it could. Dory, 2 reverse, the need to focus on what you're expending as opposed to what's coming in. Right. Hermit's Moon, the 2 reversed, burnout. Right. Very good. So with the 3 and the 8, 1 is the apprentice and 1 is the master craftsman. And I would see the 3 as the master craftsman and the 8 as the apprentice. But there's like a credible, there's a credible reason to do it the other way around. So I just wanted to bring that up. And if anyone wants to weigh in right now, 3 as master and 8 as apprentice, or 3 as apprentice and 8 as master, there's no right or no wrong. I'm going to teach it the way I do it, but I did want to bring up the fact that there are 2 different ways of seeing this. Ultraviolet, number 2 also reminds me of moms. Yes, holding babies, stirring pots on the stove, talking on the phone, needing more hand, working from home while they're doing all of that. Sure, all of that. And sometimes dads too. Sometimes it's the dad who has that responsibility. But either way, that idea of keeping a family, keeping a job, maybe going to school, all of those things. Absolutely. As regards the 3, Claire says he is appreciated. Karen agrees 3 master and 8 apprentice. And Tanya sees 3 as apprentice and 8 as master. Sure. It's credible either way. Absolutely. And it's just sort of important, I think, that that master-apprentice relationship happens with the 3, and 8. Dory sees 3 as the master. So Sarah says in the 3, the master is learning from the apprentice. Okay. So in the 3, okay, Hermit's Moon says the number progression stumps me when talking about apprentice and master. Well, that's the thing. And remember that there is a credible tradition that does the numbers top down. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that here today. Sometimes when you get a deck, that's how it's organized, with the king as number 1 going down to ace, in which case 8 as apprentice makes perfect sense. Okay. So let's see. Jean, is there a sequential reason to see 3 as more learning than achieved in the 8? Yes, and that's that we can look at the journey of our suit beginning with the ace. But we can also look at the journey of the suit starting with the king and queen as mother and father God, the page and knight as we their human children, and the 10 as the situation into which we are born, and then we work our way down to the essence of the element. So that works too. Ultraviolet, 3, I think of planning and blueprints and teamwork in the building of the past, sequential step by step. Tanya, 3 is the beginning, and 8 you're further along and as established. And Dave says, well, if you do it number bottom up, we would want the 3 to be the apprentice and the 8 to be the master. But if you look at the picture, the 8 looks more like the apprentice, right? AM, number 3, meeting with craftsmen, going over a project. Anna, 3 of Pentacles to me is more about the projects, the mental preparation, the knowledge being shared, while the 8 is more about getting your hands busy doing it. Dina, 3 blueprints, a planned way forward. Kathy, 3 of Pentacles, working within an established structure, stability. Clumsy, 3 and 8 of Pentacles, I see them as interchangeable depending on the circumstances. AM, 8 is still learning the craft, getting money in the future. Oh, I see, still learning the craft and getting money in the future. Catherine, 3 of Pentacles, we never stop learning, hopefully. 8 is moving forward in our practice from master from one skill to adding a new one. I like it. Style and Chica, 3 of Pentacles can be working in a company, and 8 can be being your own master. You have your own business and you are therefore very busy and working hard. Nice. This is all good stuff. Karen, number 3, working together with others and your peers. So one keyword that I really like for the 3 of Pentacles is recognition. I think Claire mentioned that, recognition. One of my favorite depictions of this is in Spiral Tarot, where we see a prima donna ballerina taking her bow and people are throwing flowers. So the idea of getting paid for what you do. Now, there's another thing that associates creativity with this card. And remember what I was saying about how there's an interplay between the suits? Now, we generally see creativity in the wands and maybe a little bit in the cups. I would argue that the 3 of Pentacles is the most creative of the Pentacles cards. So there's, maybe your job is creative, or maybe you're well recognized for the work that you do. Karen says both cards speak to details. Melanie says 3 is repetitive work, 8 is blueprint level coordination and use of material resources. So another thing I think about with this card, with the 3, is Aleister Crowley. His keyword for this is works. Not work, but works with an S. And so often I think about this like in a relationship. How's the relationship? It works. Yeah, it works. And right, thank you, Melanie. I thought you had reversed your numbers. Yes, I agree. Okay. So Jill for number 3 says collaboration. From Dave, the number 3 and 8 in both in Arabic and Roman numerals have a resemblance. Might they be interchangeable in the cosmic realm? Oh, that is deep. That is deep. Never thought about it, but sure, why the heck not? Barbara, Three of Pentacles, designer and engineer making things manifest. Dina, funny how I always view Three of Pentacles from workmen, not the other two characters. Sure, sure. Okay, and Gypsy sees teamwork here. Okay. So now let's move on to number 4. So 4 is such an interesting card. When I learned it as being miserly, as being selfish, as having that lack mentality. More and more now, though, I see it as being careful with your resources and having good boundaries. But it can show up a lot of different ways. If it shows up with like how a person is dealing with their romantic partner, it may be that they're like super jealous and they don't want their partner talking to anybody. Or, it can be like, if you're going out on a date, how's it going to be? Yeah, you're probably going to McDonald's, right? Unwillingness to spend money. So I used to see this in a very negative way. And now sometimes yes, sometimes no, depending. It can be a hoarding of resources, but it can also be good self-care in terms of boundaries. So going back to a few things here, ultraviolet 3 can be the product of the works. The created thing, as in numerology, which is 3, which is the production of something. It's not that you're creating, it's what you have created, right? Dave follows up on that. Works refers to achievements. Each scripture or story is a work, right? These are works. These are our achievements. The things, this thing we created. Yes, 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 yes. Here, I created a thing. Absolutely. I love that. Yes. Yes. And so then I got paid for the thing. And so I'm going to be careful about what I do with my money, perhaps. Okay. So Dory, number 4, holding on to what you have and unwilling to share. Hey, Claire Wetzler, nice to see you here. So I invite you with the 4 to recognize that it can be selfishness. It can be being miserly. But it can also be the need to have good boundaries. So again, we see this progression. I got a new job. I worked really hard at it. I made a thing at the job, made some money perhaps, and now I'm hanging on to those resources. Oh, reversals. Thank you, Kim. Sorry. Reversal of the 3, maybe the project is not going so well. Maybe you don't like your job. Maybe you're losing your job or you're going to leave your job. Maybe it's not a good fit for you. Maybe the plans that were drawn up are not executable. And 4 reversed really can be generosity or the need for good boundaries. Okay. Okay, so let's go back. Kelly, 4, sometimes I see it as saving for a rainy day. Yeah. Anna, 4 of Pentacles, fear of change, strong attachment, constipation. Sure. Jean, 4, there are times to spend right resources and time to hold on to them. Turn. Yes. Yes. Karen, 4, as I always saw it as you have little resources, are good at making it just enough to keep it going. Back to the thing about the numbers, ultraviolet, if you put 3 next to its mirror image, you have 8. Yep. Dave says, I'm a work in progress. We all are. Catherine says, number 3 doesn't play well with others. What do you mean by that? I'd love to hear more about that. Ultraviolet, know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Man, the opportunities to break out in song here today are significant. I'm not, but they're significant. Okay. Clumsy clairvoyance, 4 of Pentacles. I learned early as well, seeing it as a bit overprotective or guarding of what he or she may value. Right. Kathy, 4 of Pentacles, shadow figure can mean to let go of the past, need to let go of depending where it's located in the layout. Sure. Oh, Catherine, 3 reversed. The 3 reversed, not playing well with others. Yeah, man, this person on our team who makes the whole day go badly. Yeah, no doubt. 3 reversed, not a team player, says Claire. Absolutely. AM, 3 reversed, labor issues, maybe a strike, work stoppage, right? Ultraviolet, 3 reversed, best laid plans don't always go the way we planned. Number 4, holding on tight. Jean says, please sing. Nah, not today, not today. And ultraviolet, I assume, for the 4, possessiveness. Right. Okay, so, it's interesting when we get, and Gypsy says 4, moderation, minimalist. Sure. When we get to our story, we really can see if we do think about the 4 as selfishness, or the fear that you won't have enough. In the 5, we see that really come to light, right? So if we see this story here, I'm afraid I won't have what I need, or I'm being really selfish. And now look, I'm out in the cold and I'm raggedy and I'm injured and I don't have what I need. And I am number 4, not quick to part with money on extras, only the essentials. Tanya, number 4 of Pentacles, I see as healthy allocation of resources. So, we have to remember that each card has a spectrum, and depending on the reading, it can be anything from, hey, good budget, to, you cheap bastard. Or, hey, have good boundaries, to, stop being so selfish. It can really be anything on that continuum, right? It deals with that energy all the way through. And I think it's so important when we look at the cards to recognize that each card has that continuum. So if we see this card as being about selfishness, well, yeah, but that could also be self-fullness. It could be hanging on to your resources appropriately. Or, it could be really being a skinflint. So anything in there is going to work depending. Ultraviolet, 3 reversed, failure to plan. Style and Chica, 4 and 5 remind me of tower vibes. Can be. Catherine, 4 looks haggard. Like me after working a few shifts in a row. Self-care, given too much, depleted. Yes, Kate, I wasn't sure if I should call you Catherine or Kate here, but I do know you as Kate. And I'm so happy to see you here. Okay, AM, 4 reverse, chance of loss of possessions. Could be. So now the 5. I see the 5 as the missed opportunity, but it could be that the opportunity is still there. You just have to go for it. So often I see this card coming up for people who think they've missed their opportunity, but they really haven't. They think they're out in the cold, but they're only out in the cold because of their own thinking. And when I see it reversed, I see it as really going and grabbing the opportunity. So my key word for the 5 of Pentacles, believe it or not, is opportunity. But here it's that missed opportunity. And here you're grabbing it. Okay, let's see. So, Karen, number 4, muscle cramps and headaches. Sure, constricted, when the body constricts. Ultraviolet, I think 5 can definitely be about poverty of spirit, feeling left out, being outside looking in. Sure. Kathy, 5 of Pentacles, look up, there's light coming from the window. Soul search for answers. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Dave, very good. Yes, agreed. Dave, 5 of Pentacles looks like the rich, lavishly decorated establishment, like the church, is ignoring the poor and needy. The stained glass window would buy these people food for a year. Sure, you can see all of that in this card, so many things. On the other hand, you could see that they could just go in the door and get food and get warmth and get spiritual nurturance. Were they kicked out, or did they just choose not to go there? You could see that a lot of different ways, depending on the reading. Gypsy Jade, 4 reversed, a lack mentality. Sure. The Hermit's Moon, 5 reversed, things aren't as bad as they seem. Right. Jill, 4, turning your back on opportunities. Anna, 5 of Pentacles, doors being closed on you, in need of emotional rescue, cold feet, outcasts. Karen, number 5, lack mindset. So both of these cards, like there can be like attitude issues with both of these cards, and that's true in other suits. If you think about the 4 and 5 of cups, you also see attitude issues with those two cards, potentially. Ultraviolet, depending on the card, one time the 5 had a beautiful message for me, which I can't remember exactly. Right, depending on the reading, depending on everything, and this is why I say do not see any card as always positive or always negative. It depends. It always depends. We just have to get as expansive a view as we get a handle on these cards. We try to get an expansive view so that they can speak to us in a reading. Ultraviolet, number 5, who is there for you when you have nothing? Hermit's Moon, number 5, upright, don't be afraid to ask for help, right? Kate, number 5, opportunity, yes, refusing to see help under your nose, pride. Karen says number 5 can be a victim mentality. So you can see in these two cards how there are great spiritual lessons in both of these cards, right? Now, how would you use these cards for magic? I don't know that I've ever used these cards in magic. There's got to be a way, but I don't know that I ever have. I certainly have used the 3 in magic for getting a job, right? Now, let's see. Dave says, is that a door? It looks like a window. No, the door is not on this picture, but if you go around the corner, the door has to be there, right? Tanya, 5 of Pentacles, poverty, isolation, not reaching out or opening their eyes. Ultraviolet, 5 could be a light in the dark, hope in your darkest hour, sure. Karen, 5 reversed, you start thinking positive, you'll begin attracting it, right? Oh, thank you so much, Melanie, that's very nice. So, Kate, number 5, you've not listened to your need for self-care and your health is worsened. Tend to your diet. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Jill, 3 of Pentacles, reminds me of Empress, creativity and birthing ideas. Yes, yes, yes. Karen, number 5, poor health issues, you have a cold or flu. Hermit's Moon, maybe you can use 5 for banishing. Yes, be gone, be gone. Oh, yeah, 100%. So now when we look at the 6, I really like to look at the 6 in this story, right? So the 4 and the 6 are like opposites, and the 5 is caught between them. So there could be this whole journey around our attitude about money, our attitude about resources, the way we take care of our health, the way we spread our energy around. And I feel like in these 3 cards, we learn the lesson of how to manage our resources. We learn the lesson of charity and generosity, how to give to others and how to ask for what we need. And there's such a beautiful story in here. Do you see that? Catherine, number 5 in the Robin Wood, they've backed themselves into a corner. Deep breaths, expand your lungs and outlook. I love that. I love that deck. Ultraviolet, dark night of the soul, always darkest before the dawn. So with the 6, typically we see the 6 as the card of charity and generosity, but there's a scale there. It is success that is prudently shared. Although I have a friend who says, hey man, if you've got a scale, how generous are you really? So there's some questions there. But sometimes this will come up for particular jobs. People who work with money, people who lend money, people who give money away in grants or things of that nature. Ultraviolet says 5 could also be spiritual surrender, hitting rock bottom, admitting you have a problem, right? And here you're reaching out for help. So you can see how you can make these different stories. And I have to say with reversals, very often I feel like the 6 and the 4 are the reverse of each other. So like if I see the 4 reversed, I might read it the same as I would read the 6. If I see the 6 reversed, I might read it the same as I would see the 4. Or not, but I might. Marcos, which is Anna, 6 of Pentacles, virtue signaling. Oh my gosh, yes, 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 yes. The Hermit's Moon, what goes around comes around in the 4 to 6. Gypsy Jade, 6, law of reciprocation and equal exchange. Right. Kate, number 4, I've been coming to learn as resources flow in order to let something in. Jean, unbounded generosity leaves you depleted. I believe in the scale, no doubt. Especially because, people are just giving all the time. They're not doing it to give. They're giving it because they want people to like them, or they feel like there's something, that they won't be liked if they don't do that. So I agree with you, Jean, absolutely. Could this be a bank? Oh, sure. Which is funny because banks are not generous. But it is where you go to get a loan, right? People will literally give you money. Catherine, the 6 scale may indicate sharing wealth equally among others, right? Or, sharing it prudently. I can afford to give away this much. Like tithing, right? The idea that a tithe should be 10%. You take 10% of whatever you've got and you give it. So this can speak to that as well. Dave, number 6, generous with resources, not just money, but time, compassion, effort, listening to someone who needs to know someone cares. Right, and that brings in the whole concept of resources. It's not just money, right? Okay, Kathy, 6 of Pentacles, not everyone getting their fair share of resources. Interesting. Upright or reversed? AM, 6, victory, sharing resources. Right, because we know that 6 is the number of victory, service, and glory. And we can see all 3 things in this card. Karen, and then weighing how much to loan, you compare what you have as collateral. Right. Exactly. So now, on to, let's see. Catherine, there's always that one puppy that wants to take more of the nipple or dog chow than its siblings. Number 6. Betty, 6 of Pentacles and inheritance. Sure. Or a family trust, something like that. Ultraviolet, 6, there's enough to share. There you go. 7. So 7 is interesting. Aleister Crowley called this the card of failure. I don't see failure in this card. I see tending the garden and waiting for the harvest. I call this card the tired gardener. So you work and you work and you work and you work and you work, and eventually you see the fruits of your labor, but it's hard. You're tired. If this card, like, will I be successful? Yes, but it's going to take time. Let's see, back some stuff, more stuff about the 6. AM, 6 also represents healing too. Yep. Clumsy, 6 of Pentacles. Hey kid, how's a lollipop? Do you like me now? Right. Right. Karen, 6, your special gift that you need to share with the world, right? Gypsy, 6 upright givers, 6 reverse takers. Ultraviolet, 6 could also be giving in a showy way, right? Right, for PR. Exactly. So with the 7, I feel like, your garden will bear fruit. And it's interesting that there are 2 cards in this suit that I think about with gardens. One is 7 and one is 9. And the 7, we're tending the garden. With the 9, the garden is just fine. So the Hermit's Moon, 7 sees some reevaluating. Kate, 7, review of successes and failures. And then 8 is the learning and revision for more success. Very good. Ultraviolet, it's going to take patience and time to do it right? Dave, 7, resting during a long process. Work well done, nothing to be ashamed of. Sure, hard work. Melanie, 6 means powerlessness to me. The person not getting the charity. Honestly, I would say, think about that. If that's, when we see something in a card, we might want to look at, like, why is that what you're seeing in that card? Is there something there for you? Is there something there you need to see? Karen, 7, planting, tending your garden, waiting for harvest, no guarantee, also investing your money. 7. Hey, Richard. Okay, blue and green. Number 7, playing the long game. Oh, I like that. Jean, is there a choice in sevens? So in the 7 of Cups, there sure is. And I think with all the sevens, there is introspection. There is a sense of like what only you can do for yourself. No one's there to help you. No one's going to make your decisions for you. So yeah, to some extent there is. Anna, 7 of Pentacles, so many pending bills to pay. Gypsy Jade, 7, waiting for the right opportunity, divine timing and divine order. Ultraviolet, throwing a little George Harrison in there. Got it, got it. Well, yeah, today is our singing class, isn't it? Only I'm not singing. I'm not. Tanya, work and more work and waiting. Yeah. Betty Fleischer, on my slow tarot deck, 7 of Pentacles shows people playing poker with a man with a card up his sleeve. That's interesting. I don't know where I would go with that. You can see it like, because the 7 of Swords, of course, there's trickery and thievery. But would we take that to all the sevens? I guess that's what they did there. Interesting. Kate got a traveling Wilburys nod. Very good, very good. Ultraviolet. Number 6 could also be dependence, sure. Ultraviolet, number 6, I've always relied on the kindness of strangers. Claire C, 7, watching this week's news. AM 7, reevaluating your work. And when it's reversed, I'm always concerned when I see, not always, it's never an always. I am often concerned when I see this card reversed. I think about, did you lose your job? Is your garden not going to bear fruit? What's going on there? Sarah, what plants are those in the 7? Kind of look like the greenery in the 9, which I think is ivy. I don't know. Marcus and Tally's Secrets of the Smith-Waite Tarot could be very helpful there. Okay. So on to the 8, which we had previously spoken of as either the apprentice or the master. Also, factory work, repetitive work. Someone saw it as like having your own business and making the same thing over and over and over again. I started my business, in fact, in the quiet corner of Connecticut that used to have a lot of mills, a lot of factories. People working factory jobs would show up here. And then when the factories closed down, it looked like this. And then came the Wheel of Fortune because they all got jobs at the casinos. But that's a whole nother story. Okay. Let's see. 7 reversed. Come up with a new plan, indeed. Giving up? Yeah, maybe. I bought a bunch of herbs and thought they'd be easy to keep, but they died. Right. There's your 7. There's your 7 of Pentacles reversed. Jim, nice to see you. Contemplating proportional inequality, doing the work of 7 and yet receiving only 1 portion. Claire sees squash or pumpkin leaves here. Work from Ultraviolet. And Kate sees grape leaves here. So the 8, and could there be work? I mean, both of these cards can be work. A little bit different, but they're both work. 8, Betty sees computer work, internet. Richard sees keep grinding here. Here, I'm over it from Ultraviolet. With this reversed, I often see job loss or financial loss. Lisa says Crowley calls the 7 of Pentacles failure, which I don't like that either. It's all about perspectives. I agree. So I don't remember the dancing pig video. I do not. So here, any one way or the other, we see the work. And again, back to the production. In both the 8 and the 3, we are making something, aren't we? Now with the 9, we are at ease. We are resting from our labors in this bountiful garden. And with the 9 and the 10, there's so much here in both of these cards about family wealth. Now, in the 9, in modern times, we've started to see the 9 as the card of the person alone, the person who doesn't need to be in a relationship. But really, originally, it was a woman under her father's protection, practicing falconry, which is a sport of the very wealthy. And so she's in her garden. She is unmolested. She does not need other guardianship because she's protected. In modern times, this card has come to mean being comfortable in your own skin, being comfortable in your own company. So let's see, going back to some of the comments here. Okay, Kate, 8 to me is in revision of process, fine tuning. Right, what if I tighten it a little more here? What if I make this a little more red? Sure. Hermit's Moon, 8 reverse, not working hard enough. Sure. Anna, 8 of Pentacles, OCD, multiple choice test, high maintenance. 9 from Jean, self-contented. Chance, nice to see you here. 8 could be sacrifice for the greater good. Sure. Claire, 8, medicine working. Sure, if you take it day and day and day and day, it'll start to work. I love that. Absolutely. Ultraviolet, I always think of the 9 as being independent, self-sufficient. And that's so funny. I think a lot of us do. I do too. But historically, it would have been the opposite. It would have been relying on the family trust. So that's such an interesting thing. And it can work both ways. And that's the thing. Really, this card says, I have what I need. The question, of course, where did it come from? Did it come from your family? Did it come from your own hard work? It could be a lot of things. Let's see. Karen, number 9, always reminds me of Garden and Gate song. Ultraviolet, number 8. Where's 8? Where's 8? What did I do with 8? Oh, here's 8. Pride in work. Claire, 9, self-made person. Hermit's Moon, 9, the fruits of your labor. Richard, number 9, an entrepreneurial woman. Anna, 9 of Pentacles, lion eyes from the Eagles. Really? I'm going to want to hear the explanation on that one. I'm trying to figure that one out. And now, of course, you're going to give me a brainworm for the rest of the day. Thank you so much. Sarah, 9, I see her as independent and without a care in the world, without a need for any man. Leave me in my garden with my bird and my snail. And an interesting comment on the snail. The snail carries his house with him, so he's always home. So there's something here about being always home, being comfortable in your home. And Jill says from 7 to 9, it looks like the grape leaves have grown in time. Karen, number 9, not willing to take risks. Ultraviolet, I have a 9 that reminds me of Jennifer Lopez. And the 9 is always so elegant like she is. I love that. Dave, number 9, looks like the idle rich benefiting from everyone else's labors. And she looks so discontented. Clumsy, 9 of Pentacles, coming into a beautiful environment of wisdom and peace. Time to share that wisdom, perhaps. And remember, too, that the Hermit is number 9. All of your 9s, there is some sense of that internal or on your own kind of thing. There is a snail. Right there, there's a snail. Okay. Ultraviolet, 9, also like never breaking a sweat or letting them see you sweat, making it look easy. Betty, someone referred to the 9 of Pentacles being like a Paris Hilton type and the 10 of Pentacles being like the Hilton family. Literally, historically, that is what it is. We see it in different ways now, but that's where it came from. And that's why both the 9 and 10 of Pentacles can predict an inheritance. She is wearing a glove with the falcon. That is definitely a gloved hand, and the other hand is not gloved. Style and Chica, the 9 is like the Empress before she became the Empress. Anna, a woman who sacrificed love for marrying a rich, stable husband. Yes, I see her as a kept woman. Gypsy Jade, 9, financial independence. Okay, so again, a wide range of how we might see this card. But we know that she has security. Oh, right, a rich old man and she won't have to worry. Right, now I got the lion eyes thing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Got it, got it, got it. Jill, 8 and 3, still creativity, right, right, right. And making, yes. Kate, 9, pride and comfort in your efforts that have panned out and provide respite. Time to focus inward and on your own space. Take a break from work. Dave says, take that hood off the falcon and the snail is lunch. There you go. 9, reminds me of my mom wanting to stay single following her divorce from my dad. This will sometimes, not always, but sometimes talk about single people. Yes, indeed. Ultraviolet, once we've reached 9, we've worked so hard, practiced, put in, we've done it over and over again. It now appears effortless. Using magic to get what she wants. Her hands as above, so below. Could be. Number 9, happy on your own. 9, reversed, leaving the security of your garden or feeling insecure. And Jim says, yes, remember that falconry is a hunting sport, usually limited to men. So important here. So on to the 10. The 10 is the one time in the weight deck that we see the Kabbalistic tree of life, which I think is interesting. Historically, this is the castle card. So again, that connection, wealth and inheritance here. This is a card, the 10 can talk about real estate, about your home, buying or purchasing a home or dealing with real estate. It can talk about the generations of the family, generational healing, ancestral healing, your ancestors being with you. Ha, Betty has a brainworm now. I do too. So when we see the 10 here, legacy, exactly. What do you get from your ancestors? What do you give to your progeny? We see DNA in this as well as money. And so this can be a card that talks about wealth. It can talk about family, generation after generation. It can talk about real estate. And reversed, of course, man, that family tree may have some twisted trunks. So again, we see a story in these cards. And then when we look here, and this is a whole class in and of itself, of course, but we can see what we learn from this journey. With the page, we learn how to manage money. With the knight, we learn how to go out and get our resources. With the queen, we learn how to make our home. And with the king, we learn how to lead our community. Now, we've told the story, ace up through king, but again, we can tell it going backwards. Mother and Father God, we their human children, the situation into which we are born, our happy childhood, how we learn to create. I dropped the 8, that could mean something. How we learn to tend our garden, how we learn to help others, what it feels like to be out on our own, how we learn to take care of ourselves, how we succeed at our work, how we handle our resources, and now we have learned everything we need to learn about our resources. So, fun, right? Lots of ways to see these cards, really no right or wrong answers. The important thing is that we look at them. Now, in terms of magic and manifestation, I often write 10 reverse being disinherited for sure. If you need to move, if you need to buy a home, if you're looking for the right home, 10 of Pentacles is a great card for house magic, right? If you want your garden to grow really well, do garden magic with the 9. If you want to be comfortable being single, you're recently divorced, and you want to be single, use this card to keep you happy in your single life. So think about these cards, what we learn from them spiritually in our lessons of life, how they come up in a reading, and how we might use them in magic. Okay, lots of good comments here. We are coming to the end of our class. I want to thank all of you for being here. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do. Please like this video. If you're watching an archive, again, thanks so much for being here. And we have more classes and more meetups coming up this month. If you check the playlist, live tarot webinars, you can see the classes we've already done, and you can see the classes we have coming up for the month. I also want to remind you that I am teaching a class on Zoom, 2 hours on the 16 court cards, right? Your journey through the tarot court. That's on November 19th. You can sign up by going to my website, tarotbychristiana.com, going to the events, or my Facebook business page, Christiana Gaudet. While you're here on YouTube, make sure you go to StarCast, STAARCAST. That is the podcast about StarCon, our new tarot conference. StarCon 2021 is coming up in January 22 through 24. We've moved it to be all online due to COVID. And those tickets will be available. Actually, I think they are available right now or will be available very shortly. Mark your calendar and plan to be there. It is going to be the most robust and interactive online conference you've ever heard of. And then you will have access to all the recorded classes thereafter. So I will look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Have a great weekend. I will look forward to seeing you soon.